Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Hilary and today I will be talking about my January TBR. I want to start with saying that I usually add 6 books to my TBR, although I am usually reading about 8 to 13 books in a month, but that also depends on the length of the book and also is it adult, epic, high fantasy or just some YA easy fast reads. None of the books I add to my TBR are actually mandatory. I can change them out if I want, but usually I manage to read, if not all, then most of them. First, before starting with my actual January TBR, I do want to actually engage more with you and read books recommended by you, the audience. And for this, I will be asking book recommendations in each of my TBRs, but for the next month. For example, in today's January video, I will be asking recommendations for February TBR, and they are usually connected with some sort of prompt, genre, or theme. And for February, I will be asking you to add some book recommendations in the comments down below for non-fictions. I do want to read next month 1 or 2 non-fictions, and they will be picked randomly for your recommendations. For the books, I do ask for you to give recommendations that they would be out in audiobook format, because I usually like to read contemporary and non-fiction books in audiobook format. I do have one book in mind that I will probably read in addition to your recommendations, so I will see how many I can actually read, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, but at least one will be recommended by you. And the one that I picked myself is The Immortal Life of Henrietta by Rebecca Scoot, and this a little bit goes together with my education and a little bit also with my work right now. I am in the science community, and this is about how the Gila cells were cotton. The first book on my January TBR is Bobby War by R.F. Kuang, and this is actually a reread for me. It's a dark historical fantasy about Asian-inspired Second Sino-Japanese Wars. It talks about an orphan that wants to go to the military school just to escape her future, and we will have some looming war in here. It is told to be very dark fantasy, and I don't 100% agree with it, because I was expecting more, for example, like the Deerling trilogy by Erika Johansson, that I felt was really dealing with heavy subjects and was quite dark. For this, I do remember just mostly one particular scene at the later part of the book. I did read it actually over a year ago, and I want to finish this whole series. I have bought already the 2nd and 3rd book, so I will be reading this for the next couple of months, and then I do want to do a review about this and give you my full opinions about this. The second book on my TBR is An Echo of Things to Come by James Eilington, and this is the 2nd book in the Licenius trilogy. The Licenius trilogy is an adult epic high fantasy book with a lot of characters and a really complex plot. My husband has read all of these 3 books, and he said that it reminds him a lot of Wheel of Time series in a shorter time period. So I myself want to actually now get into the Wheel of Time series and read the whole, 14 books. So I think it's a good stepping stone for that. But for the overview of what this series is about, or at least the first book, since this is the 2nd book, I will be talking about The Shadows What Was Lost. I read it in November, and this is about a world where there are magic users, and they were once renowned as gods, but that was a long time ago, and now all the magic users are mostly kept something in a similar state as prisoners, but not quite. Their magic usage is limited, and technically they can't protect themselves if there is a need. There is a boy called Davian, and his magic doesn't work quite as it should be, and we will find out that he has special magical skills that belong to, that is similar like to the ones that were a long time called ogres and were regarded as gods. There is also a part where the monsters are locked behind the wall, and now the wall is cracking, the monsters are escaping, and the war is looming over them. What I love about this is the complex plot for me to figure out how are people connected. For example, there is a boy who doesn't remember anything, and we have to figure out alongside him who he is, what is his past, how is he connected with Davian. And as you can see, I would say a key word for this book or this series is time, because there is a lot of playing with time. I don't want to say anything else in case it may be spoilers, but the key word would be time. So if you don't like plots with playing around with time, I wouldn't recommend this series, but otherwise definitely check it out. Next book on my list is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rush, and this I don't have a physical copy of. I will be reading it on my Kindle. I don't know a lot about this. I know it's a 3-book trilogy that I want to finish. It's 2019 TBR, so it has been on my reading list for a long time. What I know about this is that it's a YA fantasy romance in a world where there was magic, but it was stolen, and there is a girl who will try to do anything to get back the magic for her world and try to get the future king into the throne. So I don't know if it's gonna be any good. I hope so. I picked it out a long time ago when I saw the cover, and I hope it's gonna be a good read. The next book on my TBR is a graphic novel. It's a Codex comic collection by Annette Marie and Ashley Zanardi, and this actually is a short story collection of a book series I really love. The book series is 17 books long. This is the 16th one, and the 17th one comes out this month in January. And I will be saying, if I have time this month or in next month, I will be reading that 17th book. Definitely, it's one of my favorite series to read. So what is this about? This is actually a collection of 4 different storylines or spin-off book series. The first one is about Tori and 3 mages. The second one is about Robin and her demon, cookie-eating demon. That's one of my favorite plot lines to have, apparently. The third series is about Kit and the magical police, and the fourth one, the one that the new book is coming out, is about a druid called Zack. The whole point of this series is it's the same world as we live in, but there is a hidden magical community that has their own police that regulates all the magic users. And it is more like an adventure book with very good humor. There is also a small line of usually very slow burning romance, and also people trying to figure out who they are. In general, it's a really fun, easy read. I will be finishing this in a jiffy, so I can't wait to start with this one. Next book on my TBR, I don't have a physical copy of, so I will be reading it in a Kindle format, and it's actually a new release coming out this January, more specifically 18th of January, and it's Edgewood by Kristen Cicerelli. The cover looks amazing. It is a YA fantasy, and it has dark wood themes. Most of the locations should be in there, and there is a deal with the Wood King, so I'm getting a lot of small favors vibes, or just magical forest book that I am going to think that it will be one of my favorite books of the year. At least I hope so. Last book on my TBR is She Who Became the Sun by Shelly Parker Shan, and this is last year's release. This is the Illumigrate version, and as far as I know, it has been very well received. I have seen it in many people's most favorite books of the year list. This is a adult historical fiction. It takes place during the Ming Dynasty period. It's about 2 children, a boy and a girl. The boy is said to have a great future. The girl will be surmounting up nothing. But the problem is that the boy will die, and the girl will take up his place playing a boy and will try to get his future. So it sounds really amazing. The book is pretty, so I am really excited about this. This book will be on my mini review coming out soon, and also mini review will be about the Edgewood that is coming out this year, so you will get soon at the end of the month my opinions about those two books. And also the next mini review is actually coming out in a couple of days, and it will be about Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I still have one book left on my pile, and I won't be counting this as my official TBR for January. This is the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, and it has a lot of short stories, and they should be most closest to the original one. They are quite dark. I am actually halfway through the book. I have about 200 pages still left. It is about 100 short stories, and I have been reading this book actually since June last year, and at some point I read it quite regularly, but honestly I don't pick this book up a lot, and usually when I do pick it up I read about 3 to 5 short stories together, but I can't do anymore because honestly it is too much. You have too many characters, too many storylines, and it all starts to blur together. So I won't be specifically reading this, but I'm hoping and I'm keeping it somewhere where I can see and pick it up a couple of times a month, and hopefully I can manage to read it before the year is up, so before the end of May. And then I have another one, Chinese Myths, that I want to take up and start reading that one. So this is my January TBR alongside with Snow Like Ashes and Edgewood. And if you don't take the Brothers Grimm stories in account, it's about 2,600 pages or 2,800 pages with Grimm's fairy tales. So it is quite manageable. So if I manage to read all of these, I will be picking up, I'm not certain what, probably the Guild Codex comic collection's next book about the Druid Sack, or some other new release, or maybe I can going ahead with Poppy Ward, the Dragon Republic, so I can finish that faster and start with Wheel of Time. So we'll see, I'm not certain, but this is about my January TBR. I will link all the books I talked about down below. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and bye!